Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Naomi, and today I want to talk about something that I think is really important to talk about that we don't talk about very often in yoga. And that's the difference between passive stretching or passive joint strength and active strength or active stretching. Okay, and the reason that I think it's important to talk about this is that in yoga, we tend to really focus on one of those, and that's passive. Okay, now passive, you're probably very familiar with in poses like tree pose. Okay, so let's say you're standing on your left leg and you go to lift your right leg up and you just automatically grab your ankle and pull your foot up as high as you can up to the top of your thigh. Okay, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, but what you're doing in order to get your foot up to the top of your thigh is you're using another part of your body, in this case your hand, to bring your foot up higher and to move your joint, right? To move your femur bone in your hip socket with a little bit more support. Okay, so, what would happen if instead of grabbing a hold of your ankle, you actually tried to lift that foot up on its own? Let's find out. Okay, so if I lift this leg up and I try to bring my foot to that same place, it goes almost as high, but see, there's a little bit of a gap. And that's the difference between that passive range of motion in my joint and active range of motion in my joint. Passive strength versus active. Okay, so just for fun, try it on the other side. So give yourself a little bit of, just a little bit of balance, right? So lift your left leg up. And if you are somebody who grabs your foot, bring your foot up to the top of your thigh. Okay, and just see. Okay, so you might be able to do that. And then, just see what happens on the other side, standing on your right leg. What happens when you lift your leg up and you try to bring it in? Oh, it's close, but still there's this little gap. It doesn't go quite to the same spot. Okay? Again, no big deal, right? This is just showing me the difference between my active range of motion in my joint and the passive range of motion. So when I'm only using my leg as opposed to using my leg and my hand, that's the difference between active and passive. We also see it in poses, for example, where you lift your leg up, hold onto your foot, and extend your leg out or up. Okay? Now, just, take out of this for a moment that I have pretty decent extension and also pretty decent passive mobility in both of my hips. Now, what would happen if I lift my leg up and I'm not holding on? See, if I hold on to my foot, I can take it much higher. If I'm not, it drops down a little bit. Whew. Okay, so same thing on the other side. Again, if you're not somebody who usually holds onto your foot, you can test this also with a belt, right? You can loop something over your foot, and it's the same thing, right? If you loop a belt over your foot, imagine I'm holding a belt, okay? Didn't come prepared for this video today, but that's all right. Imagine that you're holding a belt, and that belt is going to do the same thing that your hand is, right? The belt just reflects the length of your hamstrings, right? It doesn't necessarily reflect the actual mobility, the active or passive mobility in your hip. So on that other side, lift your left leg and just see. Right, again, if I went to grab my foot or even the back of my thigh to pull it up higher, it would move up higher, right? But if I'm not holding on to anything, what does it look like? And it's a lot more work for my hip flexors is what it looks like, because these muscles have to work a lot harder to stabilize the joint and to help me balance, okay? Another place that we see this, and I'm going to get back to this in just a moment with the legs, another place that we tend to see this in the shoulders. Okay, so very commonly in yoga, we do a pose called Gomukhasana, right? So in Gomukhasana, the idea is you are reaching behind to grab your fingers. Okay, again, this is more passive, whereas this is active. Oh, can I get them? Can I get them? Oh, I don't know. But if I kind of pull and find it, then I can wiggle my shoulder up higher. So that's just sort of showing me what that joint range of motion is there versus what it is when I'm not holding on, right? And not holding on, it's a lot more work. Now I can edge my arm in, grab, and then take my arm back out. But again, that's that passive mobility. Once I'm holding on, it gives me some more support so that I can move the joint more, so that I can move the muscles more, right? So that I can do more with the joint. Okay, so one isn't better than the other, they just do different things. Okay, so there are three things that I want you to do to start working with the idea of joint mobility, active and passive. Okay, we've already worked on passive, but really to work on active. So if you're going to try to work on tree pose and work on increasing the mobility of your joint and the strength of your joint, what you can do is stand on your left leg, lift your right knee up, and just roll some circles. So what it looks like is your right knee goes up as high as it'll go. You take it out to the side as high as it'll go. You can lift it a little higher, turn your knee forward, sweep it in, around, up again. Okay, out to the side, turn it forward, sweep it in, around, up again. And then once you do that a few times, you get that action, and then maybe, you can bring it into tree, right? But it's preparing you for that action. Okay, feel it on the second side. Left knee goes up, out to the side, forward, around and in, just a few times. Just a few times. Then you take it out to the side and you try to pull without grabbing. In. Ooh, I think that's almost higher than the first time, maybe. Okay, so for the second one, you're gonna need a small prop. I grabbed my son's police car. You can grab anything, not a yoga block. You want it to be smaller, so like, you know, something that can fit in your hip crease. And then you place it in your hip crease, lift up, and extend. And you're trying to hold it. And this is gonna build up strength in your hip flexors. Try it on both sides. So you place it in there, you extend and hold. You can do it out to the side, you can do it forward, you can do it all kinds of cool places. This car is a really good size because I can tuck it in very nicely. Sweet potatoes work really well too. Nothing, you don't want to put like an apple or an orange in there because that could end badly, okay? But let's do one more. And this is, I like to call this Gomukhasana swimming. Okay, and this is something that I do in my Yoga for Healthy Shoulders series. It's something that I do in all of my online and offline classes. It's just really one of my favorites. Okay, so take your arms out to the sides, palms face forward. And just turn your right arm back, right palm back rather. So you're rotating your right arm in your shoulder socket. Take your right arm down, left arm up. Bend both elbows, don't grab anything. Okay, re-extend both arms, take them back out to the sides, flip your palms. So right palm is forward, left palm is back. Left arm goes down, right arm goes up. Bend your elbows. You don't grab. See, I'm not touching. Re-extend. Take them back to the sides. Flip. Okay, do this a few more times. You're not trying to grab anything. You're just opening up space. Seeing what's happening. It's fun stuff. So just keep going. And again, this is really about your shoulders, your arms, not about your head. So you don't have to like move your head out of the way or anything like that. The objective is not to grab. It's really to build a little bit more strength at that end range where you're not touching anything on both sides. Okay, and that's enough, no matter where you are, just shake it out. So those are 3 things that you can do just to improve not only the strength at the end range of the mobility for you, but also just to increase your awareness of what your passive range of motion is and your active range of motion is, your passive joint strength is and your active joint strength. So those are really important and useful things to know that we don't always talk about in yoga, but that I think we really should more often, so that we have a better idea of what our joint capacity is instead of just assuming that this is where it's at, right? There's so much more to our joints than just passive movement, okay? So if you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think if you try some of those exercises more than just in this video. And as always, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe by clicking the subscribe button in the bottom right corner so that you can get videos like this delivered to your inbox every single Monday. It's really good stuff, I think. And as always, I love to hear what you think, so let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you back on the mat again really soon. Okay, until then, bye.